We have the new moon at 20 degrees of Sagittarius, happening on December 12th at 3:31 p.m. Pacific, which is 6:31 p.m. Eastern. Check your local time to see when this lunar event is occurring for you. And yeah, here we are. This is the final new moon of 2023. This year has gone by so fast, and we're closing it out with an interesting new moon. And I say interesting because energetically, this one is definitely potent, and it's also happening the same day as Mercury's going retrograde, which will end up being back in Sagittarius by the time we get to the end of the month. For being a new moon in Sagittarius, this one has an edgy tone to it. Mostly when it comes down to Sag energy, we think about it as upbeat and jovial, without a care in the world, and this one we don't have that sort of vibe. Sure, there are some easy energies, however, this one definitely has some edge to it. Again, especially with Mercury being stationary right on that same day. But the good thing is this moon is connecting to that harmoniously. And speaking of tenors, the vibes in the graph have an energetic feel to them. Ambitious vibes is the highest on the graph and will be lasting us over these next couple of days, actually throughout the week. With the transits that we have going on this week and this new moon, and then also the Mercury station, we might feel like there's a fire lit under us to get things done. Sure, there's a smidge of solitude intersecting family and friends. So even if we're needing some time to ourselves, that may be difficult because we might have to tend to the needs of our loved ones. But despite all that, here we are at this last new moon of 2023 in the sign of the Archer. So with that said, think about what you'd like to create in Sagittarius energy. They're about setting intentions and adopting the positive qualities of a sign. That way, by the time we get to the full moon in that particular sign, we can keep moving forward with what's working, adjust the things that need tweaking, and release the things that no longer serve us under that sign's energy. Sagittarius energy encourages us to explore new paths and be more adventurous. That way we get the most out of life. So where would you like to see yourself by the time you get to May 23rd of 2024 under this sign's energy? What kind of new quests do you want to be open to in your life? Because of the open-minded nature of this sign, are you ready to adopt a growth mindset rather than a fixed perspective on life? Because doing this helps you get on the right path. That way you're able to see better opportunities that are in front of you. So are you at a point where you're realizing you've been limited for a long time and now you're wanting more freedom in your life? You're wanting to be more open to different possibilities overall. Sometimes this could look like releasing limiting beliefs that no longer serve you, adopting new philosophies that'll aid you on expanding your mind and your perspective, and even something that sounds simple as realizing that life has more to offer than what's directly in front of you. That way you're opening yourself up to bigger and better things in life. Coming back to philosophies, is this a period where you're wanting to seek out knowledge? And not just in the philosophical sense, but in other forms of education. Are you ready to expand your consciousness, in other words? Sometimes this could look like seeking out universal truths and the deeper concepts of life overall. Sometimes this could look like furthering your education or starting your education. And by that I mean higher education. Sometimes it could be other things besides university. Sometimes it could be taking up a course in certification. Sagittarius is mostly associated with higher education in that realm. However, sometimes, especially when I'm looking at someone's transits, if they have someone transiting through their 9th house, sometimes it's not all about going to university. Sometimes it's about taking a certification. But no matter which way you tackle it, this could be a time where you're elevating your understandings of different subjects and other educational things. Coming back to the freedom-loving nature of Sagittarius, is this a period where you're realizing you don't want to be overly responsible for a lot of things? That may not sound great in the practical sense. However, it takes a lot of maturity to realize that there's certain responsibilities that aren't for you. So of course, this isn't about giving up and being lackadaisical in your life, but it's more so about admitting what types of responsibilities bog you down. Sometimes this could look like a traditional job setting. That may not be for everybody. Some people aren't 9-to-5ers. Some people work better as freelancers, other forms of self-employment, or having your own business overall. Sometimes this is admitting to yourself that you've been overly responsible towards other people and not yourself. Because being responsible is excellent, it's great. At the same time, there's an unhealthy end to this. And Sagittarius teaches us that. It shows us that you can't always be bogged down by restriction and tradition. Continuing with the freedom-loving vibes of this energy, is this a period where you're wanting to explore more than your own backyard? Because Sagittarius is one of the travel signs associated with long distance travel? Is this a period where you're wanting to work on getting out more in terms of exploring other cities, other states, other countries? If this isn't about trotting around the globe, are you considering a big move to another location that better aligns with your energy? Some people's energies aren't in tune with the place that they live in currently. And the good thing is Sagittarius energy, along with its opposite sign, Gemini, teaches us that. It teaches us the importance of living somewhere that's in sync with who you are, which translates into elevating your well-being overall. And speaking of which, is this a period where you're wanting to become more optimistic? One of the many great things about Sagittarius is it comes after a dark night of the soul. So if you've been dealing with some really heavy stuff, Sagittarius energy helps us become more upbeat. It helps us look at life from a more optimistic lens. And when we're feeling like that, we're more motivated to seek out feel-good things, to be more adventurous, and aim our arrow at goals that might have been pushed aside in order for us to deal with what we were dealing with. So if you've been emerging from a more serious period, this may be a time where you're just interested in injecting more humor into your life because you need to feel lighter. You're ready to become social again, open your perspective on life, begin to feel hopeful again, and shoot your shot at all these objectives that you have for yourself. Let's look at these transits and see what we can expect from this lunar event. As a reminder, don't forget to like and subscribe because it helps this channel grow. And if you'd like to support the work of this channel, you could do so by buying me a fresh cup of coffee. There's a link in the description box below. So yeah, this new moon, for being an optimistic Sagittarius, has some kick to it, but we do have some harmonious things that really save the day. Jupiter is the chart ruler for this lunar event, and it's going to make some complex alignments to the Sun, Moon, Venus, and Pluto. With energy like this, we need to be mindful about blowing things out of proportion. In other words, because our moods may be fluctuating considering all the things going on during this lunar event, we could feel easily triggered and misread a few things. Sometimes it's going to be love life situations with the Venus stuff here, also financial situations, so there may be something at the job where we're needing to keep our cool. That way we're not overreacting to the wrong situations and putting ourselves in a predicament. But also with the Pluto stuff here, there may be some over suspicion about something that may not really be anything at all. However, the relieving thing is this moon is connecting to Mercury harmoniously. Mercury is currently stationing in Capricorn, and it's going to get back into Sagittarius by the time we get to about the 21st. The 22nd. But since this moon is tied to this Mercury retrograde, seeing this Mercury retrograde lent as a helping hand will aid us in going over things to make sure it's the right fit for us. So we may be in a period of reevaluating some of these goals and readjusting some things, but whatever we end up deciding on will end up being beneficial for us down the line. And it may not feel like that at the moment because of the way these energies are playing out. I mean, considering there's a little instability going on, self-doubt might creep in even though we're doing the right thing for ourselves. Especially with this Uranus-Neptune situation, the Sun and the Moon are going to connect to Uranus and Neptune in a way that may feel difficult. And this is where that unsureness is creeping in. This is where some of the erratic energy is creeping in. Also, this is not really helping in terms of our moods feeling stabilized during this time. So mood-wise, we might feel off kilter and we may feel self-conscious about a few things while also feeling uncertain about what we should do next. However, we have some saving graces occurring during that time. With the Sagittarius stellium that's occurring during this lunar event, the Sun, Moon, and Mars happen to be in Sagittarius right now at this moment. They're connecting harmoniously to the nodes. So we've got a trine to the north node and a sextile to the south node. This could provoke us healthily to take action on goals that are aligned with our spirit that have been sitting around on the back burner. So this may be a time where you're realizing it's possible to get things going with something that's been brewing for a while. Maybe it's been on hold because of life. Maybe it's been on hold because you needed the motivation to get this going. And now this is the time to shoot your shot. So this, combined with that Mercury retrograde energy, will help propel you in the right direction on something that's more aligned with your soul. The mutable modality will experience this lunar event deeper than other signs. So if you have zodiac placements in Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, and Pisces, between 15 to 25 degrees of these zodiac placements, you'll feel this lunar event more than others. So if you have chart points or planets in these signs, then this lunar event is definitely going to affect you deeply. But anyway, I hope you all have the best new moon in Sagittarius ever. Later, and see you in the next episode.